Why is every
he's gone away. Why don't you tell me what's going on? Why don't you tell me who's on the phone?
Well, hello, hello, hello. We're back. And we're live. And so a quick Wednesday stream, as I'm going to point out. It's not doing Persona tonight, we are actually doing a little bit something different. For you see... Oh. Hey Charlemagne, how you doing? Couldn't see you there. Why is my... Hang on, I gotta reload something here quickly. I don't know why my multi-chatter here is acting up, but I will quickly refresh that. Just go here, open it up. Why is there gay? Okay, hang on. Let's get the multi-chat working. How you doing, Charlemagne? Anyways, so. I know. There's a lot of weird gay-ass shit going on in the VTubing sphere. I mean, because bitches can't help but be shopping. But I'm not gonna talk on anything in the store because I've grown sick of hearing about it. It's just a bitch digging her grave, and it's funny to watch, but it's just best not to tip the cow further, and I do mean cow. It's gonna be a quick stream tonight. More so dealer's choice of some funny reactions to some videos I've had off the side for a bit, but it's not gonna be a long stream. I can assure you that. That being said, though, my model builder, Hanazoku, has contacted me and has told me that, hey, Sirius, I got good news for you. Your model's ready to roll. So, all I gotta do now is get ready to fire up to VTube Studio and wait for an iPhone to come into the mail, and I should be able to swap on over. Which I think I'll hold off on a little bit longer just so I can get my final contemporary rig set up. As in, move away from this streaming format and onto something more proper. However, in tonight's quick stream, we're gonna be a little bit controversial. Start off with a video by Soy History on We Was and such, taking on the black the black revisionism and black supremacists making up history as they go along. Truly, a most wonderful educational topic to go into. So, without further ado, you guys ready for some black history, or blacked history if you want to say that? You ready for some hang on. You ready for some you know, so this is by Soy Society, and this is We Was, the Chronicles of Blackwashing History. As we all know, blacks have entered the world, or they did what they do best, and hoteps and black supremacists, not every single African Americans, we know there's plenty of them that are very, I mean, to absolutely lump in every group would be me acting as the hoteps are, but it's them. What they did is they decided to do what they do best, and they're Section 8 housing, living off welfare, and that's steal history and try to claim it as they owns. And basically just, if they can't figure out how things went on before the 21st century, they just then opted to, you know, basically just fill in the blanks with a bunch of sci-fi bullshit. So, this is how we got here doing this. I guess you could say they blacked history, if you will.
Everyone black now.
Who are you?
Why, I'm Squidward.
What kind of fool do you take me for? He's Squidward, he's Squidward, you're Squidward, I'm Squidward! Are there any other Squidwards I should know about?
Meow.
I'm out of here.
We was kings and shit. We're first.
Another flawless
Welcome.
victory for Hyperborean space stoners.
Please don't ever say that again. Please don't ever say that. Anyways. Or what? I don't fucking know. Tell your father's disappointed in you. I don't know. I'm not a girl, man. Don't want to say to you. Anyways, we're watching something on Black History here.
To the growing Hotep movement of black supremacists ironically colonizing the world's history. They can just wave their hand and boom, they're black.
See, the Black Hotep movement, see, all the media's fine with it until they bring up them Jews are black. See, the media and the established, established quo is fine with completely just like blackwashing every single historical civilization, race, culture, you name it, except when it affects the Jews, because the black Israelites are never taken seriously. Now, isn't that just kind of a little quinky dink?
This is actually a fairly large movement across African Americans whose genetic ancestry is mostly from the sub-Saharan west coast of Africa.
Now, also, what you gotta remember too is, it's not just their kings and warlords sold them into slavery. Ask who they were sold to, and I can entrust you, it's the group that is Schrodinger's white, where they're white when they want to be around whites, but they're not white when they want to appeal to the rest of the races, and they want to be hip and down with all the minorities to send them over to European nations. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, hint, hint. Because in South America, there was a couple galleons that were believed to be slave galleons that were also carrying a bunch of golden treasure back, I believe, and they were discovered back in 2020, if I remember, 2020, 2021. And immediately Israel claimed laid to them that they were Jewish owned and they should be given, all the gold should be given back to Israel. What do they mean by this?
But according to these new age black supremacists, they were actually
Also, the first slave owners in North America were black. Keep that in mind too.
everywhere and dominated the culture until the evil white racist man, I guess. Yeah, this video is gonna make no sense because the Hotep movement is just complete nonsense.
We was Kangs, Age of Kangs, Age of Empires.
The knights? Why do you think they call them knights? Because they were dark as night.
It's like a second grader's like reading level of just understanding of the English language.
They were dark. Beethoven was a black man. King
Mozart,
James
Beethoven?
was a black man. Mozart was a black man.
This is what I mean by absolute nonsense. They will take
Oh,
the word knight and correlate it to knights being black because knight. It makes no sense. They have zero other evidence, but they speak with an absurd confidence that every other low IQ individual with zero self-purpose other than robbing a gas station just believes them. But did you
fucking A.
know other parts of Europe were also sub-Saharan African Europe?
We was Vikings and shit.
We was Vikings and shit is an extremely popular myth in the Hotep cult. Despite there being zero evidence, with every picture being AI, and every hard facts account being completely misinterpreted, the Afrocentrist cult insists Black Vikings were real. There was one account of a half-Mongolian Norwegian queen, and they just run with it.
Yeah.
They just can't help themselves from stealing cultures, I guess.
They're saying Jesus is black. They've been saying Jesus has been black for years because, once again, Jesus was born in Bethlehem, right? We know Jesus was born in the Roman states of was it Judea? No, it's not it. Where was Bethlehem? Where was Bethlehem exactly? Oh shit! What was the old name for the nation where Bethlehem resided in? Either way, yes, Jesus was born in the Middle East. Now it's believed, to be more precisely, he's more of a olive skin than anything else, like fair olive skin at most. Because considering how the Roman Empire had basically conquered those lands, a lot of southern and Mediterranean European ancestry tends to stem back from there into the northern parts, where especially Bethlehem was. So it's believed that Jesus would be more of a fair olive skin. But the Koreans also make Jesus look Korean in their Christian churches. I guess it's more so that Jesus can appeal to people, but the Hoteps, of course, African Americans, like, the Koreans don't run in your face that Jesus was Korean. They just do it because it was initially to help bring Christianity over to Korea. It was kind of made to appeal to the locals, and they're fine with it. But the blacks, of course, run with the fact that he was just dreadlocks and he looked like Bob Marley in some of the paintings they do of him. And if it wasn't for the fact that they would rub it in your face or try to like, this right, it's, we was in his true footsteps. You white devils. They weren't doing that, then people wouldn't have a problem with it. Either way, Christ is king, but the problem is he wasn't a was king. He's still a king. Also speak King's English, for God's sake.
They even got it into Netflix. But Netflix is notoriously known for hosting such absurd Hotep ridiculous.
I don't care what they tell you in school. Cleopatra was black.
Now, this one's classic, and the funny thing is, this is one of the oldest versions of the We Was. This is literally where the We Was Kangs came from. We Was Pharaohs in She, We Was Kangs, basically stems from. I find, and it's also gotten a lot more popular with, or they've gotten a lot more fervent since that meme of the white pharaoh came about. The one from that one casino app years ago. But the thing is, once again, we all know that the Egyptians were Egyptian. They were of a not really Persian descent, but similar to how the Persians look in appearance. Now, of course, actual Egyptians are far, far, far different in actual physiognomy and phenotype than the Persians are. But in terms of like skin color, they are very much more of a tan to olive skin tone. But because of the white pharaoh meme, it pissed a lot of these Hoteps off, and they really began to double down in the past 5 years.
We Was Pharaohs is just as ridiculous as the white pharaoh meme.
The white pharaoh's cool because then you can also put white pharaoh in all sorts of weird, wacky shenanigans. Because if you put white pharaoh in front of the Memphis Bass Pro Shop pyramid, it makes it all the more baller. You put him in Agartha with the. For Christ's sake, my follower notification is literally my avatar as the white pharaoh, because I just think it's funny. It just works so much better as its own shitposting format than anything else.
This cult leaders can't connect the dots that Africa is huge, and Nigeria and Egypt are two different areas with two different people groups. But actual reasoning never gets you anywhere with the Hotep cult. Hell, they are even trying to claim Cleopatra, a historically known Greek woman who ruled over Egypt during the Roman Empire, was sub-Saharan Africa, because we was pharaohs and shit. I guess the white pharaohs are slightly more historically accurate than
that'd be the case, yes.
But no, I'm joking. Egyptian pharaohs were Egyptian, yes.
Yeah. During the actual, the reign of Egypt, during Egypt's golden age, the pharaohs would, this is mummy facial reconstruction here, but you can see that they are very much their own race as opposed to anyone from sub-Saharan Africa or from Central Europe.
I know, very shocking. But another
or Northern
segment
Europe
of the Hotep movement is the We Was Jews and shit.
Now this one is both the funniest and also strangest case. Because you gotta remember, in media, they will hand wave, black samurai. They will hand wave black Egyptians. They will hand wave black Vikings, black knights of the Round Table. And I'm not even including the one more knight that was later included into the King Arthur fables, because he was done as a light-skinned Moor knight from southern Italy, primarily Sicily, if I remember correctly. No, the Black Israelites are the most notorious because they go against what the Goyim Hoteps are not supposed to go against, and that is the Jews. Because they essentially the reason why you don't see any black revisionism of the Holocaust or of anything of the sort relating to anything with the Jews. It's because, well, they're the chosen, God's chosen race apparently, but they also control the media as well. So, they'll greenlight everything else to basically disseminate every other culture except the Black Israelites, despite being how infamous they are, how radically nuts they are. Hello, Shogar. They will never, ever be put to media or to screen because it's basically it's basically the Jews' own golem working against them, if you will. Because a lot of I'm not saying every black, because that would be completely racist of me to say. What I'm saying is a lot of these, Section 8 housing or the invading forces of Europe right now and of North America that come from Africa and the Middle East and India, the Jews will primarily hate them if they so much as bite their own hand. They'll make sure they get into these nations, but they will not. They will ensure that if they bite their hand, then they will punish them, right? That's why all of a sudden, and it's a weird thing too, because when I say Jews, it's not always Israel doing it. It's sometimes other Jewish charities that will go against Israel to instill these people into white nations. Got a new schedule work now. Going to be my ears entertainment for my shift. Now dance, slave, dance. Very funny. What I'm trying to say is that it's not a uniform one control like a lot of nut jobs will say about who go that people make fun of for being, oh, you're just really anti-Semitic. You think the world is controlled by Zionists. It's like, the funny thing is a lot of Jewish groups will go against each other because of different sects of Judaism or different races of Judaism. Because remember, there's Ashkenazi, there's many other forms of, Ashkenazi is probably the one I can only name at the moment, but there's plenty of forms of race of Judaism, and they also need to hate each other in some weird way or shape or form. But going back to this too, it's just the reason why the Black Israelites are not given any media power or anything of the sort, because they bite the hand they should not bite, right? It's kind of funny if you think about it.
Again, with the smoke of their joint and the wave of the hand, we was Jews.
Can y'all stop with this Hotep bullshit, bro? You Hotep ass niggas had to come in here talking about we're the first Jews, we're the first Israelites. Nigga, I don't want to hear that bullshit. Get that shit away from me.
The true Jews of Israel are your black ancestors.
It's hard because there's no evidence. It's all just, harder, we was Africa, we was Egypt, and we was Jews, Europe.
The cold right behind George Floyd still gets me.
Because you come to Japan and...
Hey, Japan. Fucking get rid of them right now.
Another very prevalent Weewa story is that of Yasuke.
Then we get Yasuke, which was in the actual case of Yasuke. Hang on. The actual case of Yasuke here is a little bit strange, because if you go into how Yasuke underneath Oda Nobunaga, underneath Oda Nobunaga. What happened was that Nobunaga basically, he treated him as a glorified pet, if you will, kind of like a glorified slave, because Yasuke was a exotic dark-skinned creature to him. And he found his complexion fascinating. He was only meant to carry a sword as a sword bearer for Nobunaga. He was basically a page, not even a squire. He was basically a page. Fetch me my sword, boy. Yeah, he was a good field page for Nobunaga, essentially.
Another very prevalent Weewa story is that of Yasuke the Black Samurai.
It says black people were the original Japanese people, but you guys aren't ready for that conversation yet. Anime is based...
Oh boy. So Hood weed with graying black mustache probably doesn't watch anything more than English dubs of what, Dragon. You want to say Dragon Ball, or do you want to say probably Jujutsu Kaisen edits on TikTok? Probably has got a bunch of keef in the in his scraggly hairs here.
On our true history. Suddenly, this is my co-Hotep's in Japan story hit different. Oh, hi there, Kang. I mean, Grand Rising. Grand Rising, Kang.
Okay, never mind. I spoke too soon. I thought this guy was about to fucking say that.
Our true history. Suddenly, this is my
okay, I gotta pull it back for a second. Okay, so he is shit posting. I speak out my ass sometimes. Okay, that's actually kind of funny.
Hotep's in Japan story hit different. Oh, hi there, Kang. I mean, Grand Rising. Grand Rising, Kang.
Yasuke was a real person back in 1500 Japan, but the only reason he got there is because some freak wanted to see a black guy. Some people claim that he was a samurai because he worked with Oda Nobunaga, but there is no actual account of him being a samurai. But of course, they still ran with this anyway.
Yeah, I love that shit. Now we can finally feel represented. Yes, it's literally me. I'll be real, I never really got into Avatar. I know people are like, it's my childhood, it's my thing. When I don't know, I was far too young. We was squires, we was pages, we was Shinto priests and shit. That's right. When I was a kid though, I never really got into Avatar The Last Airbender. I unfortunately had to see Korra briefly, and I think was able to escape that. See, I had early access to the internet. I mean, like, I'm talking, when I was really little, I had early access to the internet. Do you know what my Avatar was? I really should have watched this when I was a kid, but it was technically the censored versions, though it was all in Japanese subbed. I watched Fist of the North Star on YouTube back in the day. Like, the original Fist of the North Star. Yeah. It was, and the reason why is because, in the Speed Racer movie, from 2008, I believe, yeah, it was 2008 when the Speed Racer movie came out, there was a reference tribute to Fist of the North Star. And I was curious to figure out what that show was from. I get to see people's heads explode when I was like 5 years old. It's pretty bitchin'.
After all this time, we're finally going to Japan. And I still gotta see you niggas.
With some Hotep conspiracies even saying...
So I took this picture 35,000 years ago. We was Kangs and shit. We was kamikaze pilots and shit. Do you think they put demon Dodge Demon decals on their A6M Zeros and their Val dive bombers? I watched Super Mario Bros. And stop motion Spider-Man shit. I remember watching what was it? It was a Mario. It was all in the It was all in, I believe it was like, was it 8-bit or 64? No, it was 64-bit. 32-bit or 64-bit animation. But it was like Super Mario and Sonic crossover, but it was like all Dragon Ball fighting, and they had like a weird crossover like lore. It was all made by this one Japanese guy, but there was no word spoken. It was all like Dragon Ball-esque fighting between Super Mario and like Sonic, and then joining up and then fighting Wario and Waluigi or some shit later on. I don't remember. I remember seeing it. It was just like it was all a homegrown project, but it was like, it sounds cringe, yes, but to be real with you, it was bitchin'. It was a really good series for like a indie YouTube creator.
Japan and China were originally black. To be fair, there's actually some very convincing evidence here.
Look at the Buddha's hair.
Oh, for God's sake, why the fuck is I Got 5 on it playing?
No Chinese persons.
The solid evidence? Oh, they play themselves.
That's a lie, bro. That's disrespectful as shit, bro. The fuck is wrong with you, bro? Stop fucking laughing, bro.
Europe, we was Chinese, because we all know if you have a yam,
get that yam off your face, nigga,
and thick lips, then you're automatically Nigerian. The same logic is applied to the Olmecs in South American civilization. Yup, that's their evidence.
So we're going by Jim Crow standards of historical revisionism evidence based on ancient statues for their big lips and big and fat noses. Yeah.
For all of these theories, there's zero genetic evidence, zero historical documents, and zero explanations. It's all just the ramblings of a black supremacist cult.
I'm not upset with y'all because
Oh, Dr. Umar. Oh, fuck. Oh, Dr. Umar is a creature and a half. Great entertainment, but he's also a piece of shit.
you're mentally ill.
They will use terms like grand risings instead of good morning because white massa killed us and we was mourning and shit.
So the white oppressors came up with good morning.
Oh, what the fuck is this hairstyle? She looks like a parasite.
As a
At least her hair looks like a parasite.
mockery towards black people during the slavery time.
She looks like her hair looks like a venom parasite.
When they used to cry,
Looks like the symbiote.
mourn, and grieve.
Good morning. Oh, they got all in your mind. Grand risings. Understand?
I'm not even going to go over the Atlanta is Atlanta.
The power of Atlantis is within people. It's wherever we congregate. Atlanta is Atlantis. Oh, just. Oh no! This is like some white woman bullshit of joining or claiming they're Buddhist, but don't understand anything about Buddhism, and they just make up New Age pseudoscience to unlock their third eye. But it's just that, but for black people. But they buy into far more hook, line, and sinker because like at least the white women come from influential husbands. These come off poverty line and social networks.
Or
Paid
the
by you.
Nashville, Tennessee is Greece bullshit. It's just a bunch of delusional schizobabble. The delusion just further continues with many thinking they
Yeah, we named American cities after ancient, basically just ancient pillars of society. Because it was a homage to say that this is the new land we're settling into. Let's take the greatest cities we've built in history and just pay tribute to it. I watched the Mario Brothers Cosmic Kid and me absolutely love seeing Mario, Merlin, Wizard pull off Adobe After Effects layers. There's a fucking overliquid snake.
are 9 ether beings who created the universe and are actually gods.
The first physical beings to be created in the universe was dark-skinned, having 9 ether napi hair called Moors or Ethiopians. The root word for Ethiopian is ether, as in Etherian.
So we as black people created the universe in our soul form as Etherians.
How does an alarmingly amount of society believe this nonsense? Well, you see, if you grow up in a shithole ghetto.
Well, bro, man, sorry, we only post Crazy Hood Kids. Oh, God, I keep my low in my neighborhood. I'm gonna play a song for you guys after this, but just can you imagine degrading yourself? And the thing with a lot of African Americans do this. Once again, not every one of them, but a startling and horrifying amount. They trade individuality for the race like a hammer and sickle. They all's ones. The same. We all's the sames. The problem is that means you lump often a lot of degenerates into that crowd, a lot of ignorant morons in that crowd. And when your cultures wrap around basically hedonistic and degenerate behavior and influences onto children without any proper discipline, it's just all the more disgusting. To every, not just like, oh, you're saying it because you're white. No, to every single race, it is just horrific. Even other African races will find that disgusting too.
Constantly being told you are oppressed by the white man, hatred will naturally form. Because ultimately, that's what the Hotep movement is. A racist, ethnocentric movement trying to rewrite history because they did fuck all for thousands of years.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. A lot of the Hoteps are following in the footsteps of their ancestors, and they did jack fuck all. If you ever look at like third world mindset, let me put it to you simply. like a person has a hole in their house. When it's sunny, he doesn't fix it because he doesn't need to fix the hole in his house. When it's raining, he can't go outside to fix it. Do you follow?
And no, before you start raging in the comments, Mansa Musa just had a shitload of gold. And
Yeah, Mansa Musa did what Genghis Khan did, but Genghis Khan created an empire. Mansa Musa just pillaged for riches and had slaves underneath his name, which, by the way, slavery is one of the most inefficient ways of generating profit and generating wealth. The sheer overhead to maintain a slave plantation is beyond the cost of just hiring workers that live in a town. Because if you, for example, own the land and then build a town and supposedly just pay people out of free will, they gotta pay taxes, they gotta pay for food, they gotta pay for shelter. That all goes back to you. If they're paying them, there's more cost return onto you as the complete owner, as opposed to having slaves that need to be fed by you, need to be sheltered by you at your expense, need to be kept in check on your expense, need to be medically inspected on your expense. If they die, that's a slave gone. Do you understand that why, once again, slavery, why was it only until the Europeans was slavery starting to become abolished? Why is it only in third world nations, typically Southeast Asia, and I'm talking about where the nation itself recognizes an institutionalized industry of slavery is almost always in the Middle East, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Southeast Asia? You tell me that.
also a shitload of slaves in which you would have been one. Genetically speaking, African Americans were kidnapped by coastal warlords to sell to cash crop conquestors in the Americas. But there are things black people invented and have done for the United States.
Yes.
Hotep people are just none of them. Hotep cultists refuse to make new history or legacy and just sit back on government subsidies and proclaim we was. But yeah, that's all for today. If you like this video, then you can watch the videos on screen about African American smoke alarm theories or my videos about the billions of dollars stolen out of Minnesota by Somali immigrants. But yeah, that's all for today. Please like and subscribe. Bye.
Racism.
I mean, that's all you can say to that. It is unfortunate. Now, we're going to move on from that, Farouk, okay? We'll be right back, but I'm going to move on from that. We're not going to do much live, long reactions tonight, but I'll be right back in a sec, okay? back, and I want to do another video on Rally. It's a subject I greatly enjoy. However, now, as I said before many times over on stream, I've always been a automotive connoisseur. Mainly connoisseur of shitboxes. I would greatly appreciate sometime to talk with Wonderful World, and him and his beautiful little Twongies, first generation Twingos. Talk about his little car nuggets he has, because I like to talk to another Slovenian, possibly. That being said, I've always had a fascination with a lot of European car manufacturers that we never really got over here. And for as much disdain I have for the French, not for the haha memes or historical context, I'm talking about the current context of how France has become a shadow of its former self. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of actual French nationalists that feel the same way as I do, considering what your nation used to be. Another pride of the nation that got torn down was the French automotive industry. And I have always had a strange fascination with French automakers, primarily the three general ones, not the luxury ones. I've always had a fascination with Citroën, Peugeot, and Renault. Mainly because the French, after the Second World War, really got down and dirty into salvaging their own car, vehicle culture and image. It went more so with flair. Well, not flair, because flair belongs to the Italians. With the French, it was more so of abstract and new age of thinking for design. And one thing the French should also be given full credits for, and this is of me saying this, during the RPM wars of the 80s to the 2000s, and the RPM wars is auto manufacturers building 4-cylinders that rev like Stott. The European premier, second to BMW, because BMW is great for making high revving inline 6s, inline 4s, not as much. The French are what really took the fight to Honda and Mitsubishi and Toyota during those eras. And they were one of the main holdouts, especially Peugeot and Renault. Citroën here also had a few. Citroën, as we'll see, really had a flair for the hot hatch scene as well. I mean, all the French manufacturers. I mean, Peugeot especially. Peugeot was legendary for it. In fact, and it's not the king of the Peugeot's hot hatch arsenal, but I've always had a love for the 106 GTI Rally, mainly because of over-rev. The S1 variant, S2 is alright, but I very much like the S1, because that's what Sari drove. However, that being said, I've always had a strange fascination with the French rally scene, especially the rally, if you will, with the E at the end, and the road rally. And this is where these cars particularly dominate, because unlike most rally vehicles, a lot of the maxi cars, as these classes are called, were still front-wheel drive cars. And they were about 1.3, 1.4 liters displacement for the engine. And these cars were not great for off-road duty. However, they became hyper-competitive and often beating out their all-wheel drive Group A competitors on asphalt. The sheer lightweight and their ability to dance on the curving, windy roads of the Monte Carlo courses. So we're able to see one of the legendary, more recent legends of the French trio's arsenal.
The famous manufacturer of some of the most French cars on the planet.
Yeah, Citroën's weird.
Or an insult, depending on the day.
Now, Citroën... Was it... No, Renault and Citroën did briefly try to tap into the North American market. There are a few Citroëns that made it over here, though they were the more weird ones, i.e. the... What was it called again? It was rear engine front wheel drive. Basically the inverse of rear-wheel drive. Had its engine in the rear and had a drive shaft that ran to the front wheels. Engine front wheel drive Citroën. Let me just look this up here. I know the name is slipping off my tongue. We got it was a Citroën DS, the traction avant. There's a few kicking about where I am as survivors. Oh no, they were imports. The ones that we have here are just imports. It was the Citroën DS that was sold here. is what we got. And the Citroen CX as well. Those were our cars that we got sold here from Citroen. However, that being said, it was always funny to us because ideally, especially in Canada, you would expect that, the French, the province of Quebec would basically be and of course the Cajun state of Louisiana would have a massive intake of these French cars. But unfortunately, is that the main reason why a lot of the French manufacturers could operate here, I think it was it was only with Renault, with AMC. That's a different story. But I guess maybe because the French were a little too quirky for us. Because I mean, the Eurotrash scene was definitely taken off around that point. Surprisingly enough, in Japan, after their automakers, the French actually do far better in Japan because not only do they sell mostly smaller displacement vehicles and smaller compact vehicles, there's a lot of Eurotrash and Francophiles over in Japan. And during the golden age of the 90s of the motorsports scene that everyone loves to gloss about, especially from the manga, and I'm talking about Overrev in my case, French manufacturers actually sold pretty well amongst young women buyers. That's why the 106 was especially very, very, very popular amongst female buyers. That's why I drove one in Overrev, but a lot of French manufacturers often do pretty well over in East Asian nations because, during that time period, not so much nowadays because at one point being French used to be chic and vogue, much like Britpop and everything of the sort, when those nations still had their culture intact,
Decade. The late 90s and the early 2000s wasn't a golden period for mass-market cars wherever you went, and unfortunately this truth manifested itself quite spectacularly in France, with Citroën releasing the Little Zara in 1997. It was
Now, the C2 code, I believe, is by Citroën. The C2 code, I find very fascinating and interesting as a car. Now, it's not a good successor to the Saxo at all. It's a terrible successor to a Saxo, to a proper Saxo. However, that being said, the C2 code, I believe, is just a fun little unique car of the time.
not a great car. In fact, it was a bit So how then did it become the basis for one of Rally's most dominant race cars?
Well, that's today's tale, and stick around because even after the Zara's heyday, this story only gets wilder.
Citroën, part of PSA Peugeot Citroën.
I pronounce it Citroën. I know I'm doing the very heavy francophone accent here, and thankfully it's not a guttural Quebecois accent, but I pronounce it with the proper, more Parisian Citroën pronunciation of it. I guess maybe because automobilistic is a Brit bong, which surprisingly enough is that I'm probably lacking. I think the guy might have more French than me than I do, in terms of ethnic backgrounds, because I'm actually Scottish and British. Also, my background too, is I just kind of funny. I guess maybe because it's just a local pronunciation and dialect, but how he pronounces it, I find it very peculiar.
Now Stellantis were looking to replace the aging
Oh
ZX
god, not Stellantis! Don't ever mention the devil's name here.
in the mid-1990s.
Naturally, they didn't want to spend too much money doing this, and so the new car built on the old car's chassis, making minor improvements, and of course being adorned with a fresh new body, ready for the 1997 launch.
By all accounts, the body design they came up with, inspired by the Bertoni designed Xantia, according to Citroën, left no real impression on the press or the public.
No.
To put it simply, it was very boring.
It's an car.
The choice of engines wasn't particularly
French looking a little bit, but it's an car.
inspiring either, with a range of petrol and diesel engines no larger than 2 litres, all sending power to the front wheels. The Zara was
Something really wrong with front-wheel drive cars. I need to announce it out to people. It's kind of heretical to a lot of so-called car enthusiasts, the ones that typically don't have a driver's license or don't drive cars, to say that front-wheel drive can be fun, because when all you've had is front-wheel drive hot hatchbacks and small cars, you learn to master them very quickly, and they are fun, especially on like certain models that are very, very, very fun to drive. Especially and also if you tweak them the right way. So there's nothing really wrong with a lightweight front-wheel drive, like hot hatch or sport coupe. There's nothing wrong with that. My problem is that for a platform that was literally designed to be a weight-saving miracle, and also offer a smoother ride. I mean, initially, front-wheel drive was initially for luxury cars in the first place. When it came to mass-produced compact cars, the Mini Cooper being the most predominant example of this, and one of the earliest predominant examples, the Mini Cooper demonstrated it quite well, as well as the Citroen 2CV, but I'm going to stick with the Mini Cooper because of the sheer amount of weight saving it had. And it proved that a very light, compact chassis and compact design, including the drivetrain, not needing the driveline, not needing the drive shaft all the way to the rear of the vehicle, and saving all that weight, can make a car, even though it being nose heavy, a lot more fun than it gives itself credit for. I mean, Christ's sake, the original Mini Coopers are probably one of the most agile cars in the world. Mass-produced, of course. Mass-produced agile car.
Any more than a cheap family car. No frills, no thrills.
So it looked dull, it was kinda slow, and to add salt to the wound, reviews, even at the time, complained that the handling was...
You gotta remember, the Peugeot 106 GTI, or the Peugeot 106 outright, was on its, I believe, second generation, or second iteration. It was on the post-facelift at this time. And even on the non-rally trim, the 106 was a very sharp car from Peugeot. It was a very, like, sharp handling little hatchback. For a city car, for this size range of car, the Zara is just complete, just schmozzle, what it should have been.
Vague. It's not a great thing for handling to be. But my point is, using this car as a base for a serious performance car, it just seems laughable, at least at face value.
Enter the Citroen Zara kit car. It was built...
Yeah, see, this is why they became great. It's because it was the Maxi kit car. The Maxi class was often, or Maxi, I believe it was the manufacturer was the class. So it was the manufacturer that became its own class on it. Anyway, the Maxi kit cars were the bodies of these cars, but the frames were kind of custom built frames. It was not like a fiberglass skin over it, but it was like the whole frame and bodies was reworked entirely, and it was given a high revving sub 1.4 liter engine.
The Formula 2 kit car regulations, which started life as the FIA 2-litre World Rally Cup before becoming the Super 2000 class. The Zara kit car was developed by Citroën Sport and weighed in at just 960 kilograms. It was powered by...
So I'm confusing the 1.4 liters with like the smaller like 106 Maxis and stuff. The Citroën Zara, I guess was a size class above it, so it was able to get the 2-liter displacement.
2-litre petrol engine connected to the front wheels. The car did compete in some WRC races, but of course being in a lower class, it was never destined to be super competitive. In fact, due to being front-wheel drive only, the Zara...
Yeah, mind you, all that sliding, you're watching it do all these driftings that, all these drifts that will do that. Everyone who would have done like a TikTok edits nowadays are like, bro, look at this drifting, bro. Yeah, rear-wheel drive for life. No, this is front-wheel drive. This guy literally doing Scandinavian flicks and yanking the handbrake. This is the stuff I learned how to drive my original C30. This is how I learned to drive cars enthusiastically, let's put it, spiritedly, as we will put it, on back alley roads and back valley roads. This is how I trained myself. Hey, Sh50, how you doing? But yeah, no, yeah, I'm not a rally king like these guys are. I'm not gonna pretend anything of the sort, but this is how I train myself. By watching these guys and then learning online how to do these things in parking lots first, and then I took it on to actual roads, where there were very much dead roads, because I have a very stringent rules of how I go and practice.
I was only allowed to compete on asphalt tracks in the WRC. Despite this fact, it did manage to pick up 3 podium finishes and 2 outright wins, an extremely impressive feat.
The true success, however, was seen in the lower level championships the car was really designed for. Philippe Bugalski won 6 out of 10 events at the French Rally Championship in 1998, taking overall victory, and the following year was even better.
Oh, Dinner Colombia is currently being Uzbekistan 1-0 and will be heading home in a bit. Nice.
With Bugalski winning 9 out of 10 events with his trusty Zara kit car, a truly dominant performance. Jesus Puras won the Spanish National Rally Championship 3 times from 1998 to 2000 using a Zara kit car. And then, in 2001, it won yet again in France in the hands of Sébastien Loeb. Remember that name.
Sebastian Loeb.
If you're enjoying the video so far, tap
You
the like
French.
button.
No, see, this is the only type of French anything I like, right? French women? No, not really. French streamers? No, don't like them. French VTubers? No, not really a fan. French most things music-wise? Not really as much anymore. Very few artists I ever did like in the first place. This or French fashion? No, not really. French art? Yeah, I guess you could say some more classical stuff. French history? Kind of, because it often intertwines with the history of other nations I find very interesting, or nations I am directly connected to. You're talking about French automotive design. Oh fuck, I love French. I love French cars.
It makes a huge difference. Thank you. Now, it's worth pointing out that the similarities between the Zara road car and the Pocket Rocket Zara kit car were minimal. But that doesn't matter, because what wins on Sunday sells on Monday.
Very much is the case.
Citroën just needed a bigger stage. The kit car class that Citroën had been dominating was ending in 2001, but they didn't want to stop competing. They needed a new car. The Zara's reputation was strong off the back of the kit car's success, and so the new car would once again run with the Zara name. This new car was a very different beast though, built now for the World Rally Car class. This was the big leagues now. The Zara WRC, as the new car was known, was powered by a 2-litre turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine, capable of producing around 310 brake horsepower. But
okay, brake horsepower, that's a decent-ish amount.
Crucially, this...
Remember though, what a lot of people forget is that a lot of these cars that don't make as much power as Group B, or a lot of these rally cars, even in the modern day, don't make as much power as they used to do in Group B. You know why they're faster? It's all mechanical linkages and electronic assists in the steering system and in the drive line. Better gearing, better gearboxes, better transmissions. I mean, now they're literally sequential transmissions and dog boxes, as opposed to the original old dog boxes. They are far and away far more advanced in every way, shape, or form. People have to forget that you can basically supplement lack of power for gearing and traction. And that's what a lot of people have to forget about what makes touring cars faster than others. That's why a lot of American muscle can easily be beaten out by a lot of the 80s and 90s tuners cars, because not just from sheer power alone, it's also because of the sheer amount of traction and the better gearing that these cars have.
I'm sending power to all 4 wheels. The new car stumbled out of the gate, failing to live up to expectations in 2001.
That was a quick snap round.
Though it did claim a single victory at the Tour de Corse in the hands of Jesus Puras. 2002 was a similar story, with the car performing reasonably, but just not well enough. Sébastien Loeb won the Deutschland Rally and the Monte Carlo Rally too.
Sebastian, there he is again.
Taken away thanks to a penalty for an illegal tyre change. By this point, Citroën were middling at best. But 2003 would see their luck take a turn. Loeb and his longtime co-driver Daniel Elena won
welcome.
Carlo, Germany and Italy that year, missing out on the Drivers' Championship by a single point. However, thanks to Carlos Sainz winning in Turkey, Citroën claimed the manufacturer's title in 2003. It would turn out to be the beginning of something remarkable. 2004 saw the Zara WRC dominate the season, with Loeb and Elena winning 6 events, confidently claiming the Drivers' Championship. And with Sainz picking up a win with his co-driver Marc Marti in Argentina, Citroën won the Constructors' Championship too for the second year running.
Oh, Bri, okay. Is it Bri, like Brian? Because that's fine. Bri 6'7"?
Saw a somehow even more insanely dominant performance for Loeb and his mighty Zara, as they picked up 11 wins throughout the season, claiming another Drivers' Championship and another Constructors' Championship with the help of Francois Duval and Sven Smith's victory in the Australian Rally. With the global reach of WRC, it can be easy to forget that the
flawless victory.
Welcome. Yes, we got a lot more subscribers coming in, bro. Kamorkazi, welcome.
didn't discriminate when it came to who to beat. Kenneth Hansen had been driving a Zara WRC in the FIA European Rallycross Championship since 2000, and doing well. That's actually a huge understatement. Hansen won every year from 2000 to 2005.
See, I forgot that Rallycross was that big over there in Europe. Bad Lad Racing on YouTube? Maybe. But I forgot Rallycross was this big over there in Europe. Because, like, it's such a neat concept to us, but just the idea of having a very compact course where it's, once again, you're going from asphalt to dirt with different types of terrain in a rapidly tight, narrow course. It's a very interesting type of racing that I feel like we should really take off over here.
6 consecutive European titles, a frankly absurd achievement, and an excellent demonstration of the quality of both driver and machine. 2006 saw Loeb pilot the Zara to 8 more wins, securing him
I bought my dad that Porsche 911 and the Lego 911 in the background there.
3 consecutive Drivers' Championship titles. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough to secure another Constructors' Championship title, which went to Ford. For the following year, the Zara was replaced both on and off the track with the C4. Mercifully, the road-going C4 was a significant improvement over the, by this point, ancient and decrepit Zara.
Good!
But just how would this transition serve their rally effort? Now, I've got to be honest
Why
with
are you the Popo? I'm not the Popo. It's a mechanics uniform. It's National Mechanics equipment. Like, mechanics coveralls.
End this video here. The Zara's story has been told. But I can't leave you with the impression that Citroën, Sébastien Loeb, Danielle Elena had their stories end here too, because let me tell you, they were just getting started. The Citroën C4 WRC was a beast. The car kept the 2-litre turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine, and it kept approximately the...
So this is before my time. Well, I guess this was kind of like after my interest in rally kind of waned. So maybe I just never bothered with to watch the C4 on the rally track, but on the rally course, but maybe I should go back and watch some old clips of it.
Same power output. The regulations made sure of that, but make no mistake, this was a very different car. 2007 was its first competitive year, and it came out swinging, winning its debut event in Monte Carlo in the hands of Loeb, who would go on to win 7 of the remaining 15 events that year, claiming a 4th consecutive Drivers' Championship, with Citroën only narrowly losing the Constructors' Championship to Ford yet again. 2008 was much the same. I'm sure you know the story by now. Loeb and Elena dominated the season, winning 11 of the 15 rallies, bagging...
Oh, shit. That is it's a damn good record for that.
Yet another Drivers' Championship, and Citroën a Constructors' Championship for their effort. By this point, Sébastien Loeb and Citroën had formed one of the most dominant forces the sport had ever seen. Loeb had now won 5 Drivers' Championships, and there was no indication that the carnage was going to end. And end it did not. 2009, Drivers and Constructors
Hell
title.
yeah.
2010, Drivers and Constructors title. Now Loeb had 7 consecutive wins under his belt, and Citroën had won 6 of the last 8.
Fuck me! That's beyond impressive.
World Rally Championships, and yet they kept pushing. 2010 was the final race year for the C4 WRC, but it was not the end for this dynasty. They replaced the C4 with the DS3 WRC for the following year. The DS3 WRC was a bit different to its predecessor, using a smaller 1.6-litre turbocharged engine instead of the 2-litre units that were found in the Zara and the C4.
Shit, the sheer sound of it, though, just... Let's hear that again. Let's hear it again as a downshifts and comes in on the it sounds like it's a little differential whining as it comes down into the turn.
Turbocharged engine instead of the 2-litre units that were found in the Zara and the C4.
Was that no, that's a blow off of the fucking turbo. Jesus.
2-litre turbocharged engine instead of the 2-litre units that were found in the Zara and the C4. Didn't matter though, because guess who they got to drive it? Yes, Sébastien Loeb and Danielle Elena were back yet again, and by this point the results were
predictable. 2011 was the first racing year for the new car. I won't drag it out, it won. Drivers and constructors, the whole thing.
Holy
Then,
shit.
Yep, both again in 2012, before Citroën finally, and I'm sure out of pity, finally let someone else win. Sébastien Loeb remains today the driver with the most World Rally Championship titles in the world.
So why is Colin McRae more popular than him? No offense to Colin, but why is Colin McRae far more popular than Sebastian Loeb?
9 drivers' titles consecutively, setting the record for the most event and stage wins too along the way. Citroën hasn't won a WRC title since 2012, but holds 8 constructors' titles, making them the second most decorated constructor in the sport, lagging behind Lancia by 2. And it all started with the little Citroën Zara. Check out this video about the Lancia 037 for more great rally history, this time in the crazy Group B era. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did,
we'll see Bad Lad Racing because Kamar Kazi wants to see that. But yeah, check out Automobilistic. I've had a weird fascination with this channel, mainly because also he has the same thing I have, where he's got the I mean, he's got glass. I'm not sure why he has the amber tint glasses. I mean, I got rose red tinted ones because I need them for my actual vision, but yeah, I guess really I enjoy him because he kind of reminds me of like I guess it's more like a European version of like a British version of me and of my motorsport side of me, where he has a great pretending knowledge on these things. But then again, he also speaks a lot more clearly than I do. As you can tell, I have I'm laying off little to no sleep right now, but I've always really enjoyed Automobilistic. He's just a great guy to watch. I highly recommend it. All of his videos, and absolutely go check out and subscribe to him. Like his videos. Just if you want actually proper motorsports history without any of the glitz and glamour and all hype bro shit and appeal to content creators to react to, check out Automobilistic. Absolutely the best out there. Now then, moving on. Apparently, one of you guys here wants to see Bad Lad Racing. I'll just briefly peek in to see what it is. Here's the Tobago King of the Hill competition. I don't know. Heroes, families, no. Nah, I'm okay. I'm okay. No offense, but it's more so about racing as opposed to documentary about the actual case of it. It's just more so the actual racing clips. It's not really what I'm here for. All right. Let's see what else we can find in this brief stream tonight. It's going to be a quick one tonight. Just because I haven't been able to stream for a while. I want to get back into it.
The ZZ2 concept had piqued the interest of auto parts manufacturer Hugbox. Was that Tommy Cairo was now under the suggestion of
the Cairo. No, that's not what I'm looking for.
The Pontiac Aztec is.
All right. We'll watch one more video by Automobilistic and we're gonna call it a night. I know it's a really brief stream, but I do have to go to bed very soon. We're gonna watch this one about the Gillette Vertigo, which is a very strange car I briefly remember hearing about years ago. So this Automobilistic about the Gillette Vertigo.
Think of countries famous for making cars, the list is actually quite long. Many countries have been home to successful automotive companies. But when you try to think of countries famous for making performance cars, that list begins to shrink. Those that may immediately come to mind might be Italy, Germany, Sweden, etc. I'd bet that Belgium makes it onto neither list for, well, anyone. Not unless you're Belgian anyway. Hello to any Belgian viewers, thanks for stopping by. That could be to do with the fact that very few cars come out of Belgium. Except that isn't true at all. I've got a Belgian government business report here that says in 2008, granted it was a little while ago, but it's what I've got, 724,498 vehicles were produced in Belgium.
Belgium is home to one of Volvo's branches of automotive production. And they're one of the more, like, their factories were one of the more prolific factories. In fact, it was a factory that specifically built every single Volvo C30 ever made. That is the factory they built all the Volvo C30s in and would test on the track out back. So Belgium has had a lot of connections to all sorts of automotive manufacturers in building their vehicles. It's just when it comes to homegrown Belgian vehicles, you don't really think of much of anything.
I believe the business term for that is a ton. So why are we not all driving Belgian cars? Well, you might be, if you drive an Opel, Audi, Volvo or Ford, but of course none of these are actually Belgian companies.
No.
It would appear.
See, there's my C30. There's a C30. Beautiful. And there is again too. Oh, was that a C30? Yeah, that is a C30. Yeah.
A huge vehicle manufacturer and exporter, Belgium is home to very few homegrown car companies, and certainly none you've ever heard of.
C30. Beautiful cars, one of the best cars in the world.
Except maybe Gillet. Gillet is a Belgian car.
I pronounced it Gillette. What the fucking racer company? No, it's Gillette.
Manufacturer known almost exclusively for the Vertigo, an odd-looking sports car that Gillet describes as a, quote, supercar and work of art pure pleasure. Yeah, that's taken straight from the website.
Okay.
Their
ESL.
website is pretty sparse, but I suppose that's to be expected.
Pioneer.
They only make one car. But do they? Well, yes they do, but that's not quite the whole story. Gillet seems to have focused their business around collaboration with other companies in the industry. Yes, they work with clients to build the Vertigo. Each car is built to order. But they've also done semi-bespoke work for companies including Alfa Romeo and the famous Zagato design house.
So it's kind of like Disco Volante working with Alfa Romeo in that way, where they get special edition one-off, like very limited run cars that are basically coach built on the original platforms.
In fact, perhaps there is an argument to be made that Belgium's most famous car
looks like a Prowler. It looks like a cyberpunk version of the Plymouth Prowler.
In fact, perhaps there is an argument to be made.
I don't feel about it. I mean, if it's powerful, I mean, that's good. Then it would be a better Prowler, but it just looks
famous
too funky.
car is actually the 2010 Alfa Romeo TZ3 Corsa. Alfa Romeo handed development
Not to be confused with the TZ3 Stradale, which is based on the Dodge Viper ACR.
of the TZ3 Corsa to Zagato, and Zagato, being primarily a design house, needed to source everything that wasn't made of leather or red paint. So they approached Gillet. Of course, given that Gillet make just one car, what Zagato received back was in fact the engine and the chassis from a Vertigo, a car originally developed in 1992. And so as simply as that, the Gillet Vertigo found itself as the backbone and the heart of one of the rarest Italian flagships of the century. Even to me, a person who knew a little bit about the TZ3 Corsa before making this video, this seemed surprising. Most of the coverage at the time drew comparison between it and the comparably mass market 8C. With many
So the 8C had the Disco Volante variant, which is why it's so revered.
Outlets claiming that it was in fact a rebodied 8C, which, let's be honest, would make a hell of a lot more sense. But no, under the skin it was indeed a Vertigo. Another Italian rarity based on the Vertigo is the Zagato Mostro, a tribute to Maserati on
Okay, that is actually rather nice looking. I do like this.
Centenary, like the TZ3 Corsa.
Okay, the GT wing not a really fan of, but the body, god, that is just sex appeal right there.
The Mostro used both the engine and chassis from the Vertigo. Clearly, Zagato have a bit of a soft spot for them.
Yes.
What I find interesting about these examples is there's truly no coverage of Gillet's involvement in these iconic projects. While reading an article on Top Gear about the Mostro, they suggested that the chassis actually came from McLaren, but that they couldn't confirm this. I don't know how they got that, and I don't know why they...
It's because it gives it a bit more mystique if you give it to more legendary, like, coach builders and manufacturers of high-performance vehicles. Gillet doesn't have that. I'm pretty sure none of you before this knew about Gillet. I only knew Gillet in memory of name. It's mainly because of brand name bitch sells.
They wrote it Lazy writing? Maybe, I've got no idea.
Which era of Top Gear? Was this still the Top Gear where we all loved, or was it the Top Gear that came after they kicked Larson, Hammond, and May?
What I do know is it's a damn good job Gile wasn't hired to design the bodies of those cars as well. While the Mostro
Gillette, the best a man can drive.
may have taken...
Oh man, wouldn't they just do like a car commercial where it's a bunch of soy men and it's like... Wouldn't they just do like... I mean, they literally did it with Jaguar, essentially. Jaguar basically pulled a Gillette. And it... Fuck. Oh man. We really live in one of the worst times, do we?
Some inspiration from the Vertigo in terms of its exterior design, they made sure to make it look nice. The Vertigo in all its iterations looks, to my eye at least, pretty hideous. That being said, the car has been around and available to order, apparently, for over 30 years. So there must be some people who don't care what it looks like and just want one for its performance, or more likely, given the fact it's a rare bespoke road car, its rarity. While it may not be a thing of beauty from the outside, the car does have quite the engine. The newest incarnation of the car, post-2011, uses a Ferrari-derived 4.2-litre V8 from Maserati, producing just over 420 brake horsepower, giving it around 430-ish brake horsepower per tonne. Of course, as anyone who has heard about this car before today knows, this car wasn't famous as a rare road car, or as the backbone to some Italian museum piece, but as a race car. Just a quick one.
I mean, it ugly duckling for the road, but it does look like a proper race car regardless.
Information about this car is sparse, and much of it is incomplete. Some of the race history information comes from Gile's website, which seems to have been run through Google Translate, and a Wikipedia article wherein the entire racing section is totally unreferenced. There are a couple of decrepit websites offering tables of race data, but none of them have any data for the years in which Gile claims to have won. So enough of that, how well did it do? Well, if you ask Gile, very, very well. The Vertigo is a triple FIA GT World Champion, winning in Class G2 in 2006, 2007, and in 2008.
Okay.
For a car to have been racing for 14 years before achieving its first win, the team at Gile must have been pretty set on making it work. So impressively, they did.
Yep.
Though I have seen it suggested that the G2 class the car won in for those 3 years wasn't particularly popular, by which I mean Gile ran in the class by themselves, which paints their claims of world champion in a slightly different light. I will say, this has proven difficult to fact check either way, with information being spotty. It's likely that the Vertigo ran in the G2 class because for whatever reason it couldn't qualify for the GT classes. Probably something to do with homologation. The unreferenced Wikipedia article offers very little extra information for us here, but it does say that for all those 3 years that Gile claims to have won, it entered the 24 Hours of Spa, and failed to finish every single time.
What?
So what on earth was the Gile Vertigo?
Okay, look at...
Well,
what the fuck is... What the hell are those? Pentagon center dish wheels. That is ugly. Ugh.
Earth was the Gile Vertigo? Well, in all likelihood, the Vertigo was a Dongavort-esque vehicle, with Tony Gile starting his business by importing Lotus 7s. I can't confirm for certain that the Vertigo is derived from this platform, but let's be real, it's pretty likely.
Possibly.
The Vertigo has existed through many iterations, but as with so much of the information around this car, I can't verify everything that I'm about to say, so take it with a grain of salt. What I know is that the most recent generation, the 5, is ostensibly available to buy, and should be pretty similar to the car that raced in the late 2000s.
Okay.
It boasts a 4.2-litre Maserati V8, and a carbon fibre honeycomb chassis, apparently. Whether you could actually order one of these in practice, I have no idea. If you know any more than I do, I'd love to hear about it in the comments section.
I do love me a little bit of a wild goose chase. It's just this, I want to have the money to even ask them in the first place.
Previous generation of the car, presumably called the Vertigo 4, was outfitted with an Alfa Romeo-derived V6, and the very earliest cars, this car has been around since the early 1990s, were powered by a 2-litre inline-4-cylinder.
That is a funky pop-up headlight. Let's look at that again.
Since the early 1990s, were powered.
It's like an antenna.
By a 2-litre inline-4-cylinder Cosworth engine. If you've stuck with me to this point, you might be wondering how I can claim that this deeply obscure car that seemingly nobody knows anything about can possibly be Belgium's most famous car. If that's you, you mustn't have played Gran Turismo, because Gran Turismo is why this car's famous, particularly thanks to its prevalence in Gran Turismo 3 and 4, much like this. Watch my video about the Peugeot Esperante GTR1 on screen now. Leave a like if you enjoyed today.
Okay, let me ask you this automobilistic, and I want to say once again, like, comment, subscribe to this guy's channel. I love his videos. He's very in depth on more exotic cars, which is not my specialty, but I want to ask automobilistic. Could you possibly, and if he ever does hear the fact that some obscure no-name literal who VTuber likes his videos and has liked his videos for a while, could you please do me a favor? The STCC, and I believe what was the other touring car championship it raced in, but the Drive-E Volvo C30s, could you please cover those? Because I still don't understand them. I tried finding details of them, but they are quite the interesting beast, to say the least. And considering this video had a lot of C30s in it, in the opening segment, I would be more than happy for you to possibly do a video on that. But yeah, I think we're gonna call it a night from there. And it was a very short, quick stream, but it is what it is. It is kind of an impromptu night for me tonight. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to raid on into any VTuber that's open right now, see who they are, and just pop on in. Seems like Daisy, Kiki, Kodiak, Paulmaster, Meat, and Cleo. So I'll probably raid it into Cleo on just on Twitch here, and we'll call it a night. Take care, man. It was enjoyable to listen to. Thank you. Cleo. Oh, Mama Oko. I guess maybe Mama Oko, maybe? No, I'm just gonna stick with Cleo. Cleo. Through the window. Okay, well, you guys take care now, okay? Take care.